Final Fantasy VII, the epic 3-disc Squaresoft RPG. Ain't nobody got time for that. Game's under 20. Let's move. Meet Cloud Strife, former first-class soldier gone mercenary for hire. Cloud helps the rebel group Avalanche, led by Barrett, along with his childhood friend Tifa. Avalanche operates out of their home in Midgar, which is governed by Shinra, a tyrannical group harvesting Mako energy from the planet to power their endeavors. Barrett believes that these Shinra Mako reactors are absorbing the planet's lifeblood, and the planet will soon die if no one intervenes. Cloud and Avalanche destroy a Mako reactor. As they attempt to destroy another, the group is ambushed by Shinra. In the chaos, there is an explosion, and Cloud falls down into the slums of Midgar, where he meets Aerith, a flower girl. Cloud quickly realizes that there's something special about Aerith when the Turks arrive on the scene, who have been instructed by Shinra to capture Aerith. Aerith employs Cloud as her bodyguard. The two escape to Aerith's home. Upon returning to the Avalanche headquarters, Cloud sees that Tifa has been taken away over to Wall Market, home of the Don Cornero. Dressed as a woman, Cloud and Aerith infiltrate the Don's mansion. Inside, they learn that Shinra is planning on destroying the upper plate of Midgar to crush Avalanche, along with all the innocent people of Sector 7. The group rushes back, but it's too late. Shinra detonates the plate, destroying Sector 7 and blaming it on the, quote, terrorist group Avalanche. Shinra also manages to capture Aerith, who is revealed to be the last remaining Cetra, an ancient race of people, fabled to be the key to finding unprecedented amounts of Mako stored within the Promised Land. Cloud, Tifa, and Barrett infiltrate Shinra and rescue Aerith. There they also meet Red 13, a test subject of Hojo, Shinra's head scientist who's researching the Cetra and the Promised Land. The group also finds a strange specimen known as Genova. During their escape, they are captured by the Turks. After a short while, the group breaks out only to find that the president of Shinra has been killed, presumably by Sephiroth, a legendary member of Soldier who was thought to be dead. What's more, the Genova specimen is also missing, presumed to be stolen by Sephiroth. The late president's son, Rufus, assumes control of the company, who proves to be much more tyrannical than his father. Cloud and Rufus square off. As Cloud emerges victorious, the group escapes from Shinra and enters into the vast land of Gaia in search of Sephiroth. Did I mention there was an awesome motorcycle chase? The group meets at a nearby town known as Calm. There, Cloud explains his mysterious past and his relationship to Sephiroth. 5 years ago, Cloud and Sephiroth are called to the Mako reactor at Mount Nebel due to complaints of a monster. The trip is bittersweet for Cloud, as at the base of Mount Nebel is his hometown, Nibelheim. Cloud sees his mom and Tifa, who turns out to be the tour guide. Once the group arrives at the reactor, Cloud and Sephiroth examine the inner chambers. They discover strange pods, where genetically modified creatures are being grown. Sephiroth descends into madness as he realizes that he too was genetically engineered. He believes that he is an ancient, and that all other humans are traitors to the Cetra. He begins referring to Genova as his, quote, mother, and begins preparing for a reunion. Sephiroth burns Nibelheim to the ground and disappears without a trace. Cloud and Tifa chase Sephiroth down into the reactor. Tifa discovers that Sephiroth murdered her father. In a fit of rage, Sephiroth strikes down Tifa. He steals Genova from the reactor. Cloud confronts him. Unfortunately, Cloud and Tifa can't remember what happens next. After learning of Cloud's past, the group travels in pursuit of Sephiroth. They follow his trail over to Junon, a harbor town. They take a boat across the sea. The group is shocked when they find out that Sephiroth is on board. They find Genova Birth, one of the many incarnations of Sephiroth's mother. The group arrives at Costa del Sol, where they find out a black-cloaked man passed through earlier. They follow the trail to North Coral, where Barrett receives a less-than-cordial welcome from some of his old friends. From North Coral, they climb up to Gold Saucer, a huge amusement park. The group meets Kate Sith, a strange gray cat riding a giant stuffed Moogle. Kate Sith tells the group their fortunes, and he decides to join them on their adventure to see if any of them come true. It's here that Cloud meets Dio, who asks about black materia. Cloud isn't sure what it is, but apparently it's what Sephiroth has been after. The group gets into a wrong place at the wrong time situation and lands themselves in prison. After clearing their name, they receive a cool dune buggy that breaks down in a nearby desert. Red 13 reveals that his home is in the area. Red introduces the group to his grandfather, Bugenhagen, who explains the life stream of the planet. He explains that everything is linked, and that when a person dies, their spirit returns to the planet. He also confirms Barrett's theory: Mako harvesting is slowly killing the planet. Without its energy, the planet will crumble and die. After Cosmo Canyon, the group finds themselves in Nibelheim. Oddly enough, the town bears no evidence of Sephiroth's destruction. Things get more bizarre as Cloud and Tifa don't recognize anyone in the town. Cloud learns that Sephiroth is within the mansion in town. There, Sephiroth speaks some nonsense, tells Cloud he isn't invited to the reunion, then flies away. What a dick. It's also in the mansion where the group meets Vincent Valentine, a former member of the Turks. Somewhere around 30 years ago, Vincent was sent by Shinra to keep an eye on the Genova project, headed by Shinra scientists Gast, Hojo, and Lucrezia. Vincent develops feelings for Lucrezia, which are unrequited. Lucrezia instead has eyes for Hojo and becomes pregnant with his child. Frustrated by the lack of results of the Genova project, Hojo begins experimenting on Lucrezia. After giving birth, she is mangled beyond recognition. The baby she gives birth to is none other than Sephiroth. Vincent attempts to subdue Hojo but is incapacitated. Vincent seals himself within a coffin in his despair. As our crew ventures further north, they meet Sid, a pilot in Rocket Town. As a result of a small scrap with Shinra, they accidentally steal a ship known as the Tiny Bronco. They are shot out of the sky. Fortunately, the Tiny Bronco doubles as a boat. They coincidentally land on a small island where they learn of the Keystone, which was recently sold to the manager of Gold Saucer. The Keystone allegedly unlocks the Temple of the Ancients, where an unbelievable destructive power lies, perhaps the Black Materia. Within their travels back, the group meets Yuffie, a young ninja from Wutai, who is obsessed with materia. She even steals the group's materia during an extremely annoying, during an extremely fun side quest. Anyway, upon their return to Gold Saucer, the group receives the Keystone from Dio. It's here that we also learn that Cait Sith is a traitor, a spy for Shinra. Cait Sith gives up the Keystone to Shinra, but is plagued by guilt, so he stays with the group. He apparently knows the way to the Temple of the Ancients. At the Temple of the Ancients, the group encounters Sephiroth again. There, Sephiroth reveals that he plans to inflict a huge wound onto the planet and harvest all of the life stream's energy when the planet attempts to heal itself. He alludes to summoning a huge meteor in order to do it. The energy would be used for his reunion. Within the temple, Cloud finds the Black Materia. As they encounter Sephiroth again, Cloud splits into two mental personas, one of which hands the Black Materia over to Sephiroth. Though this struggle occurs within Cloud's head, it acts as a foreboding image for an event later to come. Tifa shouts at Cloud as he passes out. After recovering, Cloud realizes that Aerith left to handle Sephiroth by herself. The group finds her at the Forgotten City. Possessed by Sephiroth, Cloud draws his sword on Aerith, but Tifa intervenes. Unfortunately, Sephiroth strikes and kills Aerith. Cloud is forced to battle with Genova life as Sephiroth escapes. Before leaving, Sephiroth explains to Cloud that he can't feel sorrow, as he's merely a puppet. Out of respect, Cloud brings Aerith to her final resting place, the deep waters of the Forgotten City. Armed with a new determination to kill Sephiroth, Cloud and team plot a course to the great crater within the northern glacier. Rufus, Hojo, Scarlet, and Heidegger beat them to the punch, however. Rufus believes that the crater is actually the Promised Land. As our heroes finally arrive at the crater, Cloud fears the worst and knows that there's a great force ready to manipulate him. He hands the Black Materia over to Red 13. Cloud, Tifa, and Sid venture onward to find Sephiroth, who summons Genova Death. After the battle, Sephiroth reveals the truth about that day 5 years ago at Nibelheim. It is revealed that Cloud was merely a grunt at Mount Nebel, while Zack, Aerith's first boyfriend, was the first-class soldier besides Sephiroth. Tifa is unsure what to make of all this, while Cloud stands his ground. It's only when Cloud tries to recall how he became a soldier in the first place that he can't. Cloud collapses as he realizes that he too is a failed clone. Sephiroth further explains that Cloud was created when he met Tifa in the slums of Midgar, crafted around the memories of a boy named Cloud. Meanwhile, back at the center of the crater, Rufus and Hojo muse over the vast amounts of Mako energy. Though Rufus believes that they have found the Promised Land, Hojo disagrees. Hojo's notion is confirmed when they discover one of the planet's weapons, a sort of self-defense mechanism to protect the planet in times of crisis. Now, under Sephiroth's control, Cloud retrieves the black materia from Red and delivers it to Sephiroth, claiming that he was never pursuing Sephiroth but was merely summoned by him. As the weapon escapes from the crater, our team flees with haste. In the chaos, Tifa slips into unconsciousness. She dreams of Cloud and how confusing things were when they first met in Midgar. He seemingly knew too much about the events in Nibelheim. She convinced him to join Avalanche in order to keep an eye on him. Tifa awakens to find that she and Barret are held captive at Junon Harbor, set to be executed. They're being blamed for the calamity, the weapon's attack, and even the meteor that now looms in the sky. Just as the execution is set, the weapon attacks. Cait Sith sneaks in and frees Barret. Tifa also escapes and is pursued by Scarlet. After an epic slap fight, Tifa jumps off the cannon, which didn't really do anything at all against the weapon, and lands on the High Wind, where the group is back together safe and sound, except for Cloud. They hypothesize that Cloud may have washed up in the life stream, so they venture to Mideel, and sure enough they find Cloud washed up on shore. Cloud is mentally shut down, however, from all the exposure to Mako. Bound to a wheelchair, Tifa breaks down and stays with him, while the others go out in search of what to do next for the planet. After eavesdropping on a Shinra meeting, Barret and the others hijack the huge materia from a train and prepare to use it against one of the weapons. They return to check on Cloud, who is still incapacitated. Before they can leave to mount an assault, they are attacked by Ultimate Weapon. Ultimate Weapon breaks up most of Mideel, and though the others escape, Tifa and Cloud are plunged into the depths of the Mako energy beneath the surface of the planet. Within the stream of Mako energy, we enter the collective Cloud and Tifa's minds. There, Tifa relives the memories of Nibelheim and explains to Cloud that she never saw him on that day 5 years ago. She waited for him, but he never came. Or did he? Cloud was actually one of the grunt soldiers with Sephiroth and Zack. Ashamed that he didn't make the grade as first-class soldier, Cloud chooses not to reveal himself to Tifa. As the memories come together, we find out that Cloud did indeed stab Sephiroth that day and throw him into the life stream. Cloud is reassembled. Tifa and Cloud return to reality. Once back on the Highwind, Cloud apologizes to everyone. They get cut short, however, as they see another Shinra ship flying away. They chase it down to Rocket Town, where Shinra plans to stuff a large rocket at the center of the town with the huge materia and shoot it into the meteor. Though the crew intervenes acting as planet protectors, the rocket's blast isn't enough, and the meteor continues its plunge towards Gaia. Reunited with Bugenhagen, the crew visits Aerith's resting place, where they surmise that the only way to stop the meteor is with holy materia. They soon realize that Aerith was praying for holy and did manage to summon it before her death. The only problem is Sephiroth. His power is blocking out holy, and the only way holy will be able to intervene is if Sephiroth is killed. During all this, it is revealed that the Sister Ray cannon has been moved over to Midgar. The cannon fires at Ultimate Weapon, killing it, but the resulting blast decimates Midgar. Rufus dies in the blast. The blast also rips open a hole in the barrier over the crater where Sephiroth waits. Before they can fight him, they have loose ends at Midgar. Hojo is still directing energy to Sister Ray, and if he's not stopped, the remainder of Midgar will be destroyed. They rush to the cannon where they find Hojo, who has completely lost his mind. He refers to Sephiroth as his son, and to Cloud as a failed experiment. After killing him, Midgar is safe for the moment. Cloud explains that they have a week before the meteor will strike the surface of Gaia. He tells everyone to see their loved ones one final time before the final showdown. Cloud and Tifa share a moment together, realizing that they only have each other now. As they wake the next morning, the crew reunites and heads down into the crater. There they defeat Genova's synthesis. After that, they finally encounter Sephiroth, who's crazier than ever. First, they defeat the mutated Bizarro Sephiroth. Sephiroth reveals his ultimate form, Safer Sephiroth, the strange one-winged angel. Guess that's where the song gets its title from. After defeating Sephiroth, the crew regroups around the edge of the crater. Cloud is plagued by Sephiroth's voice in his head. In a burst of rage, Cloud kills Sephiroth once and for all with his ultimate attack, Omni Slash. Our cheerful reunion is interrupted by the meteor falling towards the surface. People all around Gaia look up at the sky in horror. In the final moments, holy surface is piercing the meteor. A column of bright light follows, slowly revealing Aerith in what we can assume is her spirit, returned to the planet. "500 years later, we see a much older Red 13 running with two cubs. They stop by a cliff and stare onward at the ruins of Midgar, adorned with flowers now, showing that the world has finally healed itself.